James, how's the mood in camp probably compared to this time you were last in Hunter Valley a few weeks back?
Well, look, I think everyone knows we've got a job to do, and we'll put a big emphasis on that. Bledisloe's up for grabs, so very focused and very sort of on task, and it's a good feeling.
What are the key work-ons? You've obviously had a look at that last game in Auckland. What are the key work-ons?
Well, I think you're never going to win a test match when you make that many sort of missed tackles. I think we've created a lot of opportunities in attack, but sort of we threw the ball away a lot, and also just the balance of the kick pass run ratio wasn't quite balanced as well as I would have liked. But look, there was a lot of positives, and we've taken quite a bit out of that game, to be fair.
What do you mean the balance between kick pass ratio wasn't quite right?
Well, just the areas on the field where you kick. Sort of we played a lot between the 40s, and maybe some of the tactical kicking wasn't as good. Sort of on my behalf, I'll put my hand up for that. But also just reading the game a little bit. I felt at times sort of we were on the cusp of sort of making positive sort of outcomes, and then I guess we'd lose the ball, whether sort of through an offload or through maybe not sending enough people into the breakdown.
James, Dave Rennie said after the match, he hinted at selection changes can often fix a lot of missed tackles. Is he the sort of guy that gets the message across in a team review about that? That's unacceptable, 40 missed tackles.
Well, I think at this level, we know that's not acceptable. We know we're not going to beat a team like the All Blacks, and they made us pay. They show they are the most dangerous counter-attacking team, and they proved that. So in terms of messaging, we're all on board. We know sort of what the standards are, and that dropped a lot from the first week. So we're very capable of doing it. Defence is a mindset more so than anything. But I think just across the board, there needs to be little, just not huge improvements, just little improvements to just be more efficient and play in the right areas, and just little tweaks that will put us in better stead, because we did leave a lot of points out there.
Obviously, Matt Tamura out of the equation at 12 there. Is there any inkling that you could be switched out there and someone else could play 10, or do you think 10 is where you'd like to be consistent-wise?
Oh, look, that's definitely a possibility. I've spent a lot of time at 12, but I think for the moment I'm enjoying playing 10. It's definitely still a challenge, and I'm learning on the run, but I've got experienced guys inside me like Whitey, and outside me obviously with Matt. Sort of having two 10s on the field was playing in a certain way. Obviously, when sort of another a ball runner comes on the field, that's when sort of I need to tweak the game plan a little bit more to suit that. But I think we're in a good position now to be able to move forward, keep going.
You spoke about after the last time you played 10 before this series was in that line series, and you'd sort of run away from the position. Can you just elaborate on what you meant by that, and sort of why, sort of how you've come full circle back to being at 10 now?
Well, I think after that series, sort of, not that I didn't play my sort of best footy, I didn't have the understanding I do now of how to control the game, and also just I didn't quite step up. I felt I sort of went into my shell and didn't find my shots as I had at sort of Super Rugby previously, and when I had pulled on that 10 jersey earlier, sort of in my career for the Wallabies, even though it was sort of only one game before that. So in terms of running away, I just didn't want to play 10 anymore. So I moved to 15, and I played a little bit on the wing, and I was sort of finding my feet where I was going to be playing. I always knew in the back of my mind 10 was the goal. But sort of I made 12 a good home for the time being, learned all the skills there of sort of what I needed from my 10 and from my outside backs, and then sort of just been a natural progression as I've sort of matured, using my mind more and less my body, and I guess playing for the team more so than just looking as an individual.
Nick, off the back of the highs of, we say highs of Bledisloe 1, and then maybe coming back down to earth a little bit in Bled 2, is the confidence, has that been rocked or dented at all?
I think naturally a little bit, yeah. I think we can speak about, in two games, 4 halves there, 3 of the halves we did really well.
Yeah.
But that fourth half, I think naturally as human beings, you miss that many tackles, and you blink an eye and 2 tries behind, confidence is going to take a hit, but I don't think it's taken a huge hit where we know that we can get back there. In the first game we did it, and I think in the first half we played some really good footy. Like James spoke about, there's some areas that we can tweak with, but for a lot of that, I thought we played pretty bloody well and left a lot of points out there. So are we good enough? Yeah. Do we have confidence within ourselves and within the group that we can do it? 100%. But we now know that if we're not right there against a good All Blacks team, just those couple of % off in a couple of areas, they're very good and they can hurt you. So I guess for us, it's a little bit of what were we doing well, and let's keep doing that, and let's make sure that that you're talking about the messaging coming through. Yeah, well, the standards got to stay there, and there's a fair few of us in that room that it was pretty hard viewing, looking back on a few of those moments. But we've had a week and we'll have a week and a half before that number 3, and we've kept it alive coming back home, and I've got a huge opportunity now. So there's some excitement around that. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Going over there, we've come back with it all still to play for, and we're excited by that.
Nick, did you see more attention in that second game? I think you expected more attention probably from the All Blacks. Like, on point of review, did they throw a lot more bodies your way than they did in the first match?
Maybe a little bit, but maybe there was probably a few more opportunities that I could have taken. But again, they're areas that we'll look at, and we've got a few plans around how we can take this game 3 on, but don't really want to talk about it too much with you blokes.
How does the weather impact? Like, it looks like it's going to be rainy even Saturday. Do you kind of resort back to what happened in Bled 1 a little bit?
I think you play with a little bit more control for sure. I think that naturally happens with both teams. Something we'll have to look at closer to the end of the week and see what that's going to look like. But yeah, it'll we back ourselves in both conditions. But for sure, the game plan will change a little. Certainly around the halves positioning and the way we control the game. That'll change weather dependent. But we've got a plan for both.
Without Matt, it's a younger backline. Is it realistic, whatever the changes are, to think that by Saturday that you can be humming?
Yeah, definitely. I think within the whole group, like whoever gets the nod to wear the jersey in the backline, we've got I think we've got a plan, so it doesn't change with different guys coming in and whatnot. Like, it's just what guys are going to pull those strings. So yeah, I don't think that someone leaving and someone coming in doesn't change everything. It doesn't change anything at all. And I certainly have full confidence in whoever comes in any position has the ability, because we've been training together for quite a while now. It's like any time we've got a number of different combinations that we've trained, and whoever comes in, it's not like you haven't, it's not all fresh and new and oh wow, we've been doing this for a little while now, 4 or 5 weeks, so living in each other's pockets. We're fairly across what we've got to do. It's just about going out and doing it.
James, you mentioned the amount of attacking opportunities you created. Also, a few of those probably went the way of a push offload or a push pass. How tough is it to get the balance for either holding onto that pill or opting for the pass in those situations, and particularly for some younger guys in the team?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, you can always feel when the offload's on. There's a difference between, pushing it and siding the man and, playing with the momentum. I think the big difference sort of between Test footy and Super Rugby is, Test footy, the margins are so small. Everyone's better at defending one-on-one. The game's quicker, and literally you want to play on top of the opposition. So sometimes, when you break the line, it's a better play to just recover the ball, play back on top of them, and wait for your opportunity there and get the scoreboard ticking, which I feel we didn't do quite as well as I would have liked. But in saying that, it's just you don't want to take that out of the guys' games. You saw in game 1, guys were offloading and it worked well. And you saw the All Blacks sort of what they did in the game as well, up the middle of the field quite a few times. So it's not a matter of telling them don't offload on this channel or whatnot. It's just about, I guess, sighting the target and just feeling the moment.
You mentioned coming full circle, round of 10. When did you sort of know that you were ready to go at 10 and cricket Wallabies again?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, yeah. Look, I'm not going to lie, like, I came back to Australian rugby as a centre, and I played in that World Cup, and it did frustrate me because I couldn't give my all. I felt like I wasn't involved as much as I would have liked, and it was you want to go out there knowing that you've done the job, and so I went back to the drawing board with one of my coaches, and we sat down and chatted, how can I take my game forward? And it was, if the opportunity came up, to step up at 10, and funnily enough, after sort of round 1 in Super Rugby, that opportunity came, and it was still a big learning curve because I hadn't played 10 in 6 years, so I was picking it up on the run and taking knowledge from different guys. But I guess the COVID break for me was pretty big in terms of the amount of analysis sort of I put into the game, into my personal game, and just watching a lot of the most efficient 10s in the world, and then also just getting my skill set up to scratch. And then each week has been sort of learning on the run. I've learned literally from playing the Bulls, learnt a big amount sort of in terms of pressure and kicking game, and then moving to the Super Rugby AU, that was a big learning curve as well. So I felt sort of, I'm comfortable there now, and I feel like I can bring my own element to 10, and I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like this is my best spot to give my all, yeah.
And James, just I'm not sure if you watched the NRL Grand Final, I imagine you probably did. Are you excited about what Bernabalo can bring to Australian rugby and obviously the Reds as well?
Yeah, exactly. He's a freak athlete. You saw that. Tall man, can move well. He seems like he's got good knowledge of the game. And saying that, you know, we've got some great wingers already here. You've seen what the Buller brothers are doing for us, and it's guys like sort of Ridey, who were right on the fringe there. And I think if they get their opportunity soon, they'll be able to do some damage as well. He understands the game really well, and the amount of times he's sort of making little half breaks at training is pretty incredible. So we've got a good group of backs now, inside backs and outside backs, and having him join is only going to make more competition between us and get everyone better.
Nick, returning from New Zealand, is it a bit of an advantage playing on home soil? Everyone always talks about how difficult it is to win in New Zealand. Stats show that. So yeah, is it an advantage playing here?
Yeah, definitely. Look where we are. It's outstanding. Hunter Valley, welcome. I think it is a huge advantage for us. Even just to have the Bledisloe still alive and knowing that we've got 2 games at home in front of our fans. So I think, whilst we were confident over there, it is, like you said, it's a different challenge over there in New Zealand. But to be home, I think there's just I don't know. It's hard to describe it an exact word, but running out in front of your own fans, I know certainly for me, in front of your own family, it's something else. That you certainly grow a little bit, and you're talking about that confidence. I think it's maybe linked in with that a little bit. You just feel like they're coming here. So I think we've got a little bit of I wouldn't say an advantage, or maybe an advantage, of being home. But I think it was important that we made sure it was still alive, bring it here, because it is our advantage. We've got 2 games at home. Let's go to ANZ. What a great place to play. And there's going to be a lot of Australians there. And then, do a number there, hopefully, and take it to Brisbane.